Hey Reddit, throw away account because I'm not ready for anyone in my real life to connect the dots yet. I, 32M, have been married to my wife, 30F, let's call her Ashley, for 4 years. We've been together for almost 7. High school sweethearts who reconnected in our mid-20s. Everyone always said we were the perfect couple. And for a while, I believed it. We moved in together fast, got married 2 years later, bought a house in a nice suburb, did the whole Pinterest wedding thing. She was always ambitious, sharp as hell, and yeah, a little self-absorbed. But I chalked it up to confidence. She worked in marketing and always had this go-getter energy. I supported her completely, helped her study for certifications, edited her resumes, and pulled long nights making sure her portfolio looked killer when she was applying for a new job last year. She ended up getting hired by the company I work at. Yep, we worked at the same place. Different departments, but same company. I thought it'd be great. Carpooling, lunch together, shared goals, all of that. Big mistake. At first, everything seemed fine. She loved the job, said she was learning a lot, and kept going on about how inspiring my boss was. Let's call him Derek, 45M. He's the VP of sales, classic cool boss type, expensive suits, always cracking jokes, runs half marathons, probably pays too much for hair gel. I never liked him much, to be honest. He gave off that sleazy LinkedIn influencer vibe, if you know what I mean. The first weird moment came when Ashley started talking about him. A lot. Like, way more than you talk about a normal boss. Derek said I had great instincts. Derek thinks I'm ready for leadership. Derek invited me to a networking mixer downtown next week. I didn't think much of it at first. I was proud of her. She was finally feeling confident, and I wanted to be supportive. But then things started to feel off. She became super secretive about her phone, would leave the room to take calls, started working late to impress Derek, and would come home at 10 or 11 p.m. saying they had last-minute presentations to prep. She got oddly defensive anytime I asked questions, and she completely stopped talking about us. No more date nights. No more, "How was your day?" conversations. She was either tired or too mentally drained for me. I felt like a roommate. Or worse, a background character in her success story. That's when I started to suspect something was going on. I just didn't know how deep the rabbit hole went. So, like I said, something was off. I wasn't sleeping well, and every time Ashley got a late-night text or acted weird about her schedule, my stomach would tighten up. But I told myself not to jump to conclusions. I didn't want to be that husband, paranoid, controlling, insecure. That's not me. Then one night, and I swear I wasn't snooping, we were watching a movie on the couch, and her phone lit up on the coffee table. She was in the kitchen making popcorn. The screen flashed a preview of a message from someone saved as DJ Brain Briefcase. It read, "You were incredible today. Still thinking about that bonus meeting smirking face." I froze. The name wasn't familiar, not a friend I'd heard of. But my first thought was, maybe it's a coworker? A joke? But that emoji? That message? Nah, no shot. She came back into the room, saw me staring at her phone, and instantly her whole vibe shifted. She snatched it off the table like it was a live grenade and muttered, "It's just Derek. He sends dumb jokes sometimes." My heart actually dropped. Derek, my boss, the one she'd been gushing about for weeks. Mr. Midlife Crisis with a Rolex and a God complex. I wanted to believe it was just inappropriate banter, but now that I had a name, the pieces started fitting together too easily. Still, I said nothing. I needed proof, solid, undeniable proof, because I already knew how this would go. Denial, gaslighting, "You're insecure, you're just jealous," etc. That proof came 2 days later, and it was almost laughably careless. We have a shared cloud drive we used for budgeting, home projects, vacation planning, etc. She must have synced the wrong folder by accident, because I opened it to check our grocery list, and instead found a folder titled Q3_pitch_draft. Except, it wasn't a pitch deck. Inside were screenshots of text conversations, a hotel receipt, and a couple selfies of her in a bathrobe, clearly not taken in our house. One of the screenshots was a message from her to Derek saying, "Think that performance earned me that senior strategist title?" Face-blowing kiss. My stomach turned. The date on the hotel receipt? The same night she said she was working late on the Henderson account. The file names? Derek Fun 1, Boardroom After Hours, You Owe Me Champagne. I had to close the laptop and just sit there. I stared at the wall for maybe 30 minutes. I didn't even cry. It was like my brain just shut down. I wasn't just dealing with a cheating spouse. I was dealing with a lying, manipulative, calculated betrayal by two people I trusted. I wanted to scream, break something, drive to Derek's condo, and flatten his tires with a crowbar. But I didn't. Not yet. I needed to confront her. Calmly. Directly. No escape. And I had a plan. All right. So I had the receipts. Literally. Screenshots, hotel charges, bathrobe selfies. All in a neat little folder I named For Divorce Lawyer, smiley face. Because humor helps when your heart's imploding. I waited until a Saturday morning. I didn't want to do it after work because, 1, I knew I'd probably lose my job if I saw Derek before I got this off my chest, and 2, I wanted her to be stone cold sober and completely out of excuses. So I made her coffee, her favorite, oat milk and 2 Splendas, and sat down at the kitchen table like we were about to talk about paint colors or mortgage refinancing. I slid my laptop in front of her. Didn't say anything. Just opened the Q3_pitch_draft folder. She blinked, then blinked again, and then she had the audacity to ask, "Why are you going through my files?" Not, "Oh my God, I can't explain," or, "I'm sorry," or "This isn't what it looks like." Just straight deflection, like I was the problem for snooping in a shared cloud drive that we both used. I said, "Ashley, this is a hotel receipt. This is you, in a bathrobe, with your wedding ring off. These are texts between you and Derek. You cheated on me with my boss. I want the truth." She sat there for a second, staring at the screen, before letting out this ugh-sounding scoff, like I was bothering her. Then came the masterpiece. Okay, first of all, I didn't cheat. That's such a strong word. It was complicated. And honestly, I wouldn't have needed to do anything if you had been more supportive of my career. I actually laughed. I let out a sound I've never made before. Somewhere between a bark and a dry sob. You slept with my boss to get a promotion, and that's my fault. She shrugged, like this was a petty argument about dishes or something. Then came her Olympic-level gaslighting attempt. You don't understand what it's like being a woman in corporate. Sometimes we have to use what we've got to compete with the boys' club. I didn't do it to hurt you. I did it because I deserve to succeed. At that point, I was done. Dione. I stood up, took off my wedding ring, placed it on the table, and said, "Congrats on the promotion. Hope it was worth the marriage." She looked stunned, like she actually expected me to talk it out. Like I'd swallow the betrayal for the sake of her career goals. She started getting teary-eyed, throwing in the classic, "You're overreacting, and can't we just move past this?" No, we couldn't. And I hadn't even started thinking about what I'd do with Derek yet. So yeah, I walked out. Left her sitting at the kitchen table with her oat milk coffee and her crocodile tears. I drove around aimlessly for like 2 hours, no destination, just trying to breathe. I didn't want to call anyone. Didn't want to talk. Didn't want to feel. I parked at some empty Target lot and just stared at the wheel. The anger came first. Hot. Blinding. The kind of rage where you imagine every what-if scenario, like punching Derek in the throat mid-meeting, or tossing all her designer heels onto the front lawn with a sign that says, "Courtesy of the boys' club." But beneath the rage was something way worse. Humiliation. I felt like an absolute idiot. I brought this woman into my world. My workplace. Trusted her. Defended her. I literally helped her get the job that she ended up sleeping her way through, with my boss. That's a pain I wouldn't wish on anyone. Every memory felt tainted. The little smiles in the car. The way she used to straighten my collar before meetings. How she'd ask me for feedback on her presentations while secretly using those same projects to get cozy with Derek behind closed doors. It all felt fake. Rewritten. Like I was the last one to read the script. And then came the guilt. Yeah, guilt. As messed up as that sounds. I started questioning myself. Did I miss the signs? Was I too focused on my own work? Was I not giving her enough attention? But the truth is, no matter what I did or didn't do, she made that choice. Repeatedly. She knew what she was doing when she booked the hotel. She knew what she was doing when she took that promotion. She knew what she was doing when she came home to me every night and acted like everything was fine. That wasn't a mistake. That was a campaign. I barely slept that night. I laid on my friend's couch, staring at the ceiling fan, replaying everything. I didn't even cry yet. Just numb, drained. Felt like someone took a vacuum to my chest and left me hollow. And the worst part? I had to go to work on Monday. To the same office. Where she worked. Where he worked. and I still hadn't decided what I was going to do about any of it. Monday hit me like a truck. Woke up after maybe 3 hours of sleep, got dressed in autopilot mode, stared at myself in the mirror, and I swear I didn't recognize the guy looking back. I looked wrecked. Bags under my eyes, jaw clenched, like I was trying to keep my entire life from spilling out of my mouth. But I went in, because I wanted answers. And also because I wanted to see Derek's smug face in person. Let me paint the scene. I walk into the office. Ashley's desk is down the hall from mine. I pass it, empty. No surprise. Probably called in sick. Or maybe she was just too much of a coward to show up. Whatever. Then I head to the break room, and guess who I run into? Derek. This man has the nerve to greet me with that classic fake corporate smile and a, "Hey, champ. How was your weekend?" Champ. I looked him dead in the eye and said, "You should sit down." He actually laughed, one of those short, confused, ha-ha. What? Laughs. But when I didn't blink, he went quiet. I didn't do it loudly. No yelling. No threats. Just straight-up surgical precision. I know. About you and Ashley. The texts. The hotel. Everything. His face went pale so fast I thought he might pass out. He tried to play dumb at first. Whoa, man. I don't know what you think you, blah blah corporate BS. But when I pulled out my phone and showed him one of the screenshots, just enough to make him sweat, he backed down. Fast. He leaned in and whispered, "Can we talk in private?" I said, "We're not friends. There's nothing to talk about. HR will be hearing from me." And I walked. I filed the complaint an hour later. Attached the receipts. Let them connect the dots. By 2 p.m., Derek had left for the day. Haven't seen him since. Rumor around the office was that he was taking some personal time. You don't say. And Ashley? She finally texted me around 4. Can we talk tonight? I feel like you're being really extreme about this. Extreme. Lady, you blew up a marriage and a workplace. And I'm the one being dramatic? That was the moment I realized something important. She didn't feel guilty. She felt inconvenienced. So yeah, after the HR complaint, after the pathetic "can we talk" text, I decided it was time to stop protecting her. No more covering for her when she's busy during family events. No more pretending we were just going through a rough patch. She'd been playing me like a PR stunt. It was my turn to set the record straight. That night, I called my parents. Then my sister. Then my 2 closest friends. I didn't sugarcoat it. Ashley slept with my boss to get a promotion. I found out. I'm done. The responses were exactly what I needed. Support. Outrage. A few. I always thought something was off about her comments. And then the best part. Word spread. Her cousin texted me a few hours later. Ashley just posted a story saying you're emotionally unstable and sabotaging her career because you're threatened by her success. WTF is going on? Excuse me? Not only did she cheat, lie, and blow up 2 lives, now she was trying to spin it like I was the villain? So I posted something simple. Not dramatic. Just clear. A photo of our wedding ring set on the kitchen table. Captioned, "When your wife sleeps with your boss to get ahead and then blames you for being unsupportive. I deserve better." Boom. Nothing cruel. Just facts. The fallout? Her followers started messaging me. Some were shocked. Some had seen red flags. One even said, "She always posted those boss babe quotes but never mentioned you." My HR rep emailed me the next day. Derek was being placed on administrative leave pending investigation. Ashley showed up at my friend's place, where I was staying, pounding on the door, crying, demanding to talk things through like adults. I didn't answer. I watched through the peephole as she ranted, sobbed, begged, and finally screamed, "You're ruining everything." That was the moment I realized she didn't care about me. She cared about her image, her promotion, her leverage, her narrative. I wasn't her husband anymore. I was an obstacle she failed to silence. So after the whole door-pounding meltdown, I knew I had to stop reacting and start acting. Emotionally, I was still wrecked. But mentally, I was done playing defense. Time to lawyer up and hit back where it hurt, legally, financially, and professionally. First stop, HR. The rep handling my complaint was surprisingly sympathetic, maybe because I wasn't the first person to bring up Derek's behavior. Apparently, there were already whispers about inappropriate relationships and favoritism. My little folder of screenshots just confirmed what people had been side-eyeing for months. I told them everything calmly, professionally, with receipts. Ashley's name came up a lot. They asked me if I wanted to stay at the company. I said, Not if he stays. And definitely not if she gets away with it. They told me to hang tight. An internal investigation is underway. Second stop, divorce lawyer. Found a solid one through a friend of a friend, the kind who doesn't flinch when you say things like, she used sex with my boss to get a promotion. The consult was brutal but cathartic. Assets? Split. Apartment? I'd paid for 80% of it. Texts, photos, receipts? All admissible. My lawyer actually leaned back at one point and said, she screwed up by leaving a digital trail this obvious. Especially if she tries to play the victim card in court. You've got leverage. Damn right I do. He helped me draft a formal separation letter. Sent it to her via email and certified mail. In it, I laid out what I knew, what I had proof of, and that I was pursuing a no-fault divorce citing irreconcilable differences, and if she tried to mess with me professionally or drag my name publicly again, we'd go nuclear. Her reply? One sentence. No greeting. No signature. Just, you'll regret making this public. I hope your little pity party was worth it. Not, I'm sorry. Not, can we talk? Just straight up threats. Cool. Now I knew exactly what she was, dangerous and dumb. But the best part? By the end of that week, HR sent out an internal memo that Derek had been let go due to violations of company policy. Ashley? Placed on probation. Pending review. Guess who was suddenly blowing up my phone again? Calls. Texts. Emails. Even a handwritten note left on my windshield outside the gym. Can we please just meet and talk like adults? I was trying to survive in a male-dominated field. You've cost me everything. Nah. You cost yourself everything. I just stopped covering for you. So after Derek got canned and Ashley was tossed into corporate purgatory, I figured things might finally calm down. I was wrong. So wrong. Let me rewind a second. I hadn't talked to most of Ashley's circle since everything went down. Some were polite but distant. A few blocked me outright, not surprising, considering how good she is at spinning a sob story. But then, out of nowhere, I get a DM on Instagram from someone I didn't expect. Her best friend. Let's call her Rachel. Now, Rachel and I were never close. Always cordial, never warm. I kinda assumed she took Ashley's side by default. But her message started like this. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. You didn't deserve any of this. If you ever need to talk, I'm here. I didn't even know how to respond at first. I asked her, why now? Her answer? Because she's been lying to all of us, too. And that's when the next layer peeled off the rotten onion. Turns out, Ashley hadn't just been sleeping with Derek. According to Rachel, who had screenshots and had already cut Ashley off, there were at least two other guys. One was a mentor from a previous job, and the other was apparently a VP at a firm she claimed had ghosted her during a job hunt. Nope, he didn't ghost her. She ghosted me for a night to talk through her options with him. Yeah, let that sit for a second. Rachel said she'd kept quiet for months out of loyalty, but once Ashley started posting on social media about how I was trying to destroy her career out of bitterness, she snapped. That part hit me hardest. She hadn't just cheated, she'd weaponized my silence to make herself look like a victim. And her friends? They were turning on her one by one. Apparently, several of them reached out to HR anonymously to confirm the rumors about her and Derek. Her promotion was under review. Her professional reputation? Sinking like the Titanic. But then came the kicker. Rachel ended her message with, also, I don't know if this matters now, but she told me back in February that she was thinking of leaving you. She said she wanted to level up her life. February. Months before I found out anything. Months before Derek. So not only did she cheat, she planned her exit. Like I was some stepping stone in a twisted career move. Marriage? Love? Loyalty? Just buzzwords in her fake #power couple posts. I wish I could say I cried. I didn't. I sat there in my apartment, reading that message, and just felt empty. Not surprised. Not angry. Just done. I think that's when the grief really ended. She wasn't who I married. Hell, maybe she never was. I knew it had to happen eventually. The final showdown. No texts. No voicemails. Just one last in-person conversation to make things officially, unequivocally done. She'd been begging for it for weeks, through every channel possible. After ignoring everything from angry rants to fake apologies, I finally agreed. Told her we could meet in a public place, middle of the day, 10 minutes, tops. We met at a quiet cafe on a Tuesday. I got there early. She showed up late, of course, dressed like she was going to a job interview, full makeup, fake smile. She sat down like it was a negotiation. I could tell she thought she still had some kind of power in this. First words out of her mouth? I just want to clear the air and maybe find a way to. I don't know. Repair things. Repair things. I laughed. Out loud. Not bitter, not mocking, just in complete disbelief. I said, you don't want to repair anything. You want to rewrite the story because people are finally seeing you for who you are. She dropped the fake smile real quick. Then came the excuses. It wasn't about him. It was about me feeling invisible in the relationship. You always put your work first. You never made me feel powerful. Derek understood what I wanted professionally. I let her talk. I wanted to hear it. I wanted her to say it out loud so I'd never question myself again. Then she threw in this gem. I thought maybe if I got the promotion, I could make things better for both of us. I looked her in the eyes and said, you didn't do this for us. You did it for yourself. And you were willing to burn everything we built to get it. She blinked. No tears this time. Just pure ego. She actually had the audacity to say, so, what now? Are we divorcing for real? I slid a manila envelope across the table. Inside was a signed copy of the divorce petition my lawyer filed the day before. Her face fell. I said, yes, we are. And before you ask, no, you're not getting a dime more than what the prenup allows. I've already flagged every asset with my lawyer. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just stared at it like she couldn't believe I actually followed through. That I had chosen myself over her twisted little game. I stood up, dropped the tin on the table for my coffee, and walked out. Didn't look back. Didn't need to. The hardest part of all of this wasn't the cheating. It wasn't the betrayal or the endless lies. It wasn't even the emotional roller coaster of confronting Ashley or seeing Derek get what he deserved. It was waking up every day with a new version of myself. A version that wasn't married to someone I trusted. A version that was no longer in a career that had been twisted by someone's ego and ambition. A version of me that had to rebuild everything. I took a week off work after everything was settled. The lawyer finalized the divorce, and we agreed on the terms without dragging it out. I moved out of the apartment we shared, packed up my stuff with a few friends, rented a new place, and started over. It wasn't just the apartment I was leaving behind. It was everything. The life I thought I had. The future I planned. Everything was up in smoke. The first few days felt like living in a fog. It was so quiet in my new apartment. I missed the sound of someone else moving around in the kitchen, even if it was only for a few minutes a day. But slowly, piece by piece, I started finding myself again. My friends helped. They supported me like you wouldn't believe. My family helped. They listened without judgment. I spent time on things I loved, hobbies I'd ignored. I started running again. I took on freelance work that allowed me to grow my skills outside the corporate world. I met new people. Real people. People who valued me, not what I could provide or how much I could sacrifice. A few months in, I finally took a moment to step back and reflect. What had I learned? First, trust your gut. There were red flags the whole time. The coldness. The disappearing acts. The "I'm too busy" excuses. I ignored them because I didn't want to believe it. Don't make that mistake. If something feels off, it probably is. Second, don't let your career define your worth. I was so wrapped up in my job, in providing for a future, that I completely neglected the emotional part of my relationship. Work is important, sure, but your relationship should always come first. If your partner isn't showing up, then it doesn't matter how great your job is. Work won't love you back. Third, people don't change for you. Ashley didn't change for me. She did everything for herself, even if she tried to sell me some lie about doing it for us. If someone's been showing you their true colors, don't wait for them to get better. They won't. And finally, know your worth. Ashley's lies and betrayal were her problem, not mine. I spent too long questioning myself, blaming myself, thinking maybe I wasn't enough. The truth is, I was more than enough. I just wasn't enough for her. And that's her loss, not mine. As for Ashley, I've heard through the grapevine that she's still trying to get back into the game, desperate to rebuild her reputation, but I'm no longer keeping track of her life. I'll let her burn that bridge herself. To anyone reading this who might be going through something similar, here's my advice. Listen to your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't waste time convincing yourself otherwise. Set boundaries. If someone cheats, lies, or betrays you in a way that makes you question your worth, walk away. No relationship is worth your peace of mind. Take the time to heal. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to grieve. But don't stay stuck in the pain. Get up. Move forward. You deserve better. I'm doing better now. A lot better. The road wasn't easy, but I'm stronger for it. I'm happy again, and most importantly, I'm no longer second-guessing myself. Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best comebacks. And as for her, she can keep her promotion, her lies, and her empty victories. Because I have something much more valuable, myself.